Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today.
Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today I have the good fortune to be joined by Scott Reib of ReibLaw.com. Scott formed Reib Law as a full-service law firm that focuses on developing strong relationships with clients with one simple goal in mind: to make your legal life easier. With over 20 years of experience in business and estate law, Reib Law is out to revolutionize the legal industry by eliminating outrageous hourly fees. Scott, thanks so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure, Seth.
Let's go back in time a little bit. Why did you become a business and estate planning attorney?
Well, that does go back in time quite a bit. I've been practicing law 23 years and started out doing complex litigation for really big companies. And I was obviously just an associate attorney and not doing a lot of what I thought was valuable work, and was truthfully bored. And so I started finding other ways to try to feel like I was helping people. So started over the years working with small businesses. I can still remember my first business sale where I helped a local ambulance company process a transaction where they were purchased by another bigger regional ambulance company. And it was kind of at that point that it was like, I really like that. I mean, I enjoyed the transaction. I was dealing with real people. They were able to retire after it. That was really helpful. And so from then on, I kind of always kept some small business clients in my pocket and worked with them. I've done several things over the years, but the focus really got sharp in 2012. I was still doing a lot of litigation. It was more on the smaller end for small business rather than big corporations. But my clients were only calling me when they were in trouble, right? So I'd have someone come in and they've been a client or a friend for years. And then suddenly they come in and say, we've been sued. And I'm like, well, what happened? And they, well, we signed this contract and it didn't turn out right. Well, why didn't you ask me to look at the contract? Well, it ends up the reason they weren't asking me was because they didn't want to pay my hourly rates. And they knew that every time they called me, I was going to start billing them. And so they just flipped a coin, Googled it, did whatever they could to move forward, and didn't do that. So I hired my first business coach in 2012. It took me a couple of coaches, and I finally found one that understood my vision and helped me create what we now call the Access Plan, which is completely focused on small business owners and giving them access to affordable legal counsel on demand so that they can make decisions in real time and move their businesses forward. And so that's kind of how that transitioned over 23 years.
Okay, and I'm sure the longer version, if it hasn't, should be in a book, but you're basically reinventing the legal industry and flipping the model upside down. So talk a little bit about how that process has gone and how it's being received by the clients.
It's gone really well. It's been very well received. Our first Access client is still a client. So 7 years later, she renewed in December. She's a raving fan, loves having the ability to book Zoom calls with me by just with her scheduling link. She doesn't have to pay anything for that. She can send me documents to review, create new entities. She loves it, right? And then we have 69 other small businesses in the plan at this time that also like it. It's been very helpful to them because we're able to either help them avoid litigation, or if they end up in litigation, we're able to handle it very quickly because we're already in the loop and we can jump in very quickly. Where, I don't know, Seth, if you have had the experience of being in litigation, but the way it works is that you get sued and then you have to start going through the yellow pages, if you still have those someplace, or Googling to find a lawyer that you don't know. You then make the appointment, go in, and then you tell them the story. And then the lawyer looks at you and says, we can help you, and we'll need $5, $10, $15,000 retainer, and then we'll start billing you by the hour at $500 an hour. Sounds great, right? Well, it's about the only way it worked until I started doing it this way. So if you're an Access client and you get sued, then you immediately send it to us. We file an answer immediately so that we preserve your rights, and then we contact opposing counsel and start negotiating to get out of it. If it becomes clear we can't negotiate out, then we switch to some sort of a litigation retainer, but it's very small compared to anyone else. And then we always try to resolve it. Litigation is only good for lawyers.
Litigation is only good for lawyers. That's a writer-downer right there. All right. So you've reinvented the business model of the traditional law firm. It's working really well. So where do you see yourself in the next, how does that model work? Because obviously the more you can't handle all of those clients yourself. So you're kind of building a national presence. How does that go?
Yeah, so we're already in the process of scaling that. I don't do all the legal work anymore. I do a lot of the client contact because the relationships are so important, but we have a team of providers that work on documents, answering questions. We have support systems set up so that if you have a question or a document review or a request, it gets handled very quickly, and we have a tracking system for that. I have actually my dad is serving as our Access client coordinator, so he's the group manager and tries to keep in touch with everyone and make sure that they've got that touch point if they can't find me or get to one of our what I call preferred providers for a review or a question. And so it is scalable. The next move will be that we'll be hiring more in-house lawyers so that they can take on a little more of the client relationship. Because when we get to 100, I'll be at about the max that I can give the kind of service that I think that they need. Because every client gets a half-hour phone call with a lawyer every month if they want it. And so basically that's been booking out right now 70 hours of my month, right? Because 15 minutes before, 15 minutes after. And so if I get to 100 hours on my calendar pre-booked, that's really pretty unworkable to do anything else. So at that point, I'll have to have some other full-time people come on board to handle some of that stuff. And then we're always revamping the plan a little bit. We get feedback from the clients and some things change. But it's working well. It is scalable, and there are other lawyers across the country trying to do different versions of it. Most of them are doing very expensive versions. Like our plans start at $325 a month and go to $975 a month.
I mean, even $975 a month might only. I mean, if you'd gone the traditional route, that might have only bought you 2 or 3 hours of time. Yep. So right off the bat, I mean, $325. That's less than a lot of attorneys charge for 1 hour. And they've already got a suite of services. So I would think that'd be an incredible value proposition.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing it, and there's coaches out teaching other people to do, $3,000 a month, which if you can find 10, 15 clients to pay you that's great. I just felt like I was leaving too many people out. I wanted to really help small business owners. And so the only way to do that was try to drive the price down, make it affordable. And then as they grow, they pay more. And we all, one of our mottos is we want to help you create businesses with profits that will last. So our goal is to help you grow, because the bigger you become, the more you're going to pay me. And so it works, right? It's like Zig said, if I can help enough people get where they want, I'll be able to get where I want.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect segue. Talk about your relationship with the Ziegler family, which most of our viewers obviously will know.
Sure. Back in 2013, so about a year into the Access plan, I was looking for kind of a niche, right? I was just a small business guy. I needed to have some sort of a niche, and speakers, trainers, coaches really were interesting to me because they were helping people. Their whole life was about how can we help people get better, whether it was life coaching, speaking from a stage. And so if I could help them, then my reach became exponential. And as I was developing that niche, I got an advertisement from a lawyer coach, a guy that coaches lawyers and he was in Florida. And he was selling a certification for how to become the lawyer for speakers, trainers, and coaches. I'm like, okay, wow, that's cool. That's providential. So I get on a phone call. It would be a webinar now, I guess, but it was a phone call. And he walked through what the course was going to be like. And it was more money than I should have paid, really more than I had. But I signed up, flew to Atlanta for the first 3 days of the kind of mastermind event. And it was great information. I learned a ton. Our homework when we left was to go to a live event. So I get back to Texas, right? I'm from Texas. I'm 30 miles north of Dallas, home of Zig Ziglar. So I'm like, well, that's the only name I know. And Zig had passed away, but I knew that name, so I Googled it. And they were doing, Tom and Howard Partridge were doing their Born to Win live events. And I found one in Dallas, but I had a hearing and couldn't be at the whole thing, and one in Houston. So I signed up for the one in Houston, flew to Houston really late at night, got a cab from Hobby out to this Holiday Inn Express out in the middle of nowhere, and got up the next morning, walked in. I was wearing jeans, and I think I even had a t-shirt on. I wasn't there to impress anyone. I was just there to listen. And Tom gets up and does his thing, and I was amazed. And then Howard does his thing, and I mean, it was wonderful. I was ready to, it's like, where do I sign up for your program? I already had another coach, right? And so we walk out to go to lunch, and I go to the front desk because there's no restaurant in the hotel, and there's no restaurants around. I'm like, where do I go get something to eat? Well, Howard Partridge hears me and says, hey, do you need a ride to lunch? And I'm like, that'd be great. He goes, well, I'm going to meet with my inner circle. And I'm like, okay, what's that? And so he tells me about that and coaches me all the way. We get there, have lunch, and then on the way back, he's still coaching me. And he says, hey, how are you getting back to the airport? And I said, well, I've got the card from the guy that drove me here. I'll call him. That's kind of before Uber was so popular. And he said, no, Tom will take you. I'm like, Tom who? Tom Ziegler. I'm like, okay. So we walk in. He goes, hey, Tom, you're taking Scott to the airport. And he goes, okay, I'm leaving at 4:45. So as soon as I walk off the stage, I'm leaving. So have him have his stuff ready. So I got my stuff ready. I signed up for their program, grabbed my bag, and we got into Houston traffic. And I'm in Houston traffic with Tom Ziegler for about 2 hours, right? I mean, it was surreal.
Plenty of time to talk.
Yeah. So I'm with Tom. He's talking, but all I'm hearing is Zig.
Yep.
It's crazy. And so we get to the airport. We get on 2 different planes back to Dallas. And I call my dad. I'm like, you're not going to believe what just happened. I was with Tom Ziegler. My dad was in sales. He went to Zig stuff all the time. He couldn't believe it either. So the next week was the one in Dallas that I wanted to get to. So I did my hearing, and I drove to Dallas as fast as I could. Got there about lunchtime. I walk in, and all of the Ziegler employees are there at this one because it's local. And so I start meeting them, and they start asking, what do I do? So I told them about the access plan. And one of the guys was like, oh, Tom needs that. We really need that. And I'm like, great, I'd love to help. So they set up a lunch appointment for Tom and I the next, like 2 weeks later. And so I thought, how do I do this? Because it wasn't really a sales appointment. It was just kind of a networking appointment. So we met to talk again, and I'm like, okay, he's the sales guy. So I said, Tom, would you mind if I showed you my sales presentation? And then you just kind of give me your thoughts. And so I took him through my slide deck. And then at the end said, well, Tom, is there any reason that you wouldn't want to do business with me today? And shut up. And he says, well, we don't really have a lawyer to do this kind of stuff. Send me a proposal. And so I sent him a proposal with it was an alternative close that it was like either way was stupid. He had to do one or the other. And so they signed up and have been Access clients since December of 2014. And
Congratulations.
I'm proud to call him my friend now. And the whole family is just wonderful. We have a good time when we get together, but they do a lot of serious business, and they're running a lean, mean company and doing stuff with Kevin. And it's a lot of fun to see the new version of Ziegler Inc. because it's different than when Zig was there.
Yes.
Because Tom isn't Zig and is smart enough to know that. In fact, he released his own book this last year, Choose to Win. And so it's been real fun to do that. And then I've met, now we're good friends with Howard Partridge and all the different people that have come through. And they put me on their stages to teach their business owners how to keep their business out of legal trouble. And so it's just been a blast.
Absolutely incredible story, incredible service that you're offering. It's been Seth Greene here with Scott Reib of ReibLaw.com, ReibLaw.com. We know your time is incredibly valuable. We appreciate you sharing it with us. Scott, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, you're welcome, Seth. It was a really good time.
Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. Make sure you check out ReibLaw.com, and we'll talk to you next time.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.